Okay, refresh. Dang it, I'm not getting my Endgame tickets, you guys. It won't. No, it let me through. Trust me, I have many Endgame tickets. And we're going to talk about Endgame's new teaser that came out as they released trailers for the new movie, for the upcoming movie, as I mute myself. We're going to talk about that. There's Black Widow casting. 2 big names join the movie today. We're going to try to figure out who they might be playing. And there's some rumors of some Deathlok stuff. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. showed their premiere episode to some people, and so much more. Let's talk about it on Marvel Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Marvelites. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing today?
So good.
This is the Marvel Movie News coming to you live from, and I wrote this one down, the wreckage of AMC's ticketing service.
Nice. Nice.
I hope you guys got your Endgame premiere weekend tickets.
I did.
As we were saying, as I was talking about the intro, they went on sale this week, and everyone had a meltdown on Twitter while they were waiting for the Fandango and AMC services to catch up to the demand. We're going to talk about how all the box office records that broke in a mere matter of hours, and a ton of other stuff, including who we think Rachel Weisz and David Harbour might be playing in the upcoming Black Widow movie, and a whole bunch of things. Let's tell you who's here today. I'm Zach Wilson. We got Xia Anderson right here.
Hey, guys.
And we got Christian Bladt.
Howdy.
This is going to be a fun one, you guys. There's a lot of cool news this week. There's new footage from a bunch of things that they showed at CinemaCon that I'll mention it. We're not going to talk about the details because we're too close. We're too close, and I don't want to give away too many spoilers. But let's talk about Endgame. Oh, and thank you to Colpado. Tweeting, always helping us out from the Starjammer, making sure you guys have the links that you need on the tweets. Let's get into it. Endgame tickets went on sale. Do you guys have your tickets?
I got my tickets. I thought at first I wasn't going to be able to because I missed it, and then I had to go to work. So I was like, I'm going to be gone all day. I'm not going to be able to do this. And then I ended up, it was fine. I'm seeing it Saturday at 11 p.m.
You guys in the chat, I also want to know, did you get your tickets?
We're seeing a few people who have them. It's more a matter of, do they have it for 2 showings or 3 showings that first weekend? We have a couple of Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, some Thursday, Saturdays. I think everybody's holding out for Sunday to see if they need to see it one more time. As for me, no, I don't have them. I'm sure everybody had fun that day. But when you hear that there's an hour backlog of waiting to get the tickets, I'm like, okay, I'll get them another time. I don't get it.
But you didn't just go later in the, like, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So they went on sale West Coast time at 5 a.m.
Right.
And no way. I'm fine. I slept like a normal person. I went to work. I was like, I'll deal with it once the rush is done, because I can't see the Thursday night screenings anyway. Some of you know this, I work on a show called Critical Role, and that goes till the middle of the night on Thursdays. I would have to see a 1 a.m. screening of a 3-hour movie.
Come on, Zach, are you a fan or not?
Well, instead, I have tickets to see it at 8:30 a.m. on Friday for one screening, and then I'm seeing it with a different set of people on Saturday afternoon / evening, because it's a 3-hour and 2-minute movie, officially confirmed now. We talked about it last week. Now it's definitely 3 hours and 2 minutes long.
Those 2 minutes are going to make all the difference, I feel. I feel like they're going to be 2 really important minutes.
So the fun record cool stuff that's around this, Endgame broke the single day ticket sales number in 6 hours.
Oh my God.
Beating out Force Awakens, which held the previous record.
I remember when that happened, same thing with the Force Awakens. We couldn't get tickets because for hours, the whole thing was just
did
crashed.
you end up being able to go?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so it's the same point. I'll get my tickets, when
But it's
when
really
I'm ready
like,
to go.
the question is, do you want to see it the day of? Do you want to see it in IMAX? Like, IMAX tickets were hard to get. I ended up going with the AMC's like Prime 3D things, because I
Those are like
I
the
love
fancy seats too,
I love
right?
3D, yeah, and those are the leather recliners, and it's going to be early in the morning, so I'm going to be like kicking it back, my feet up, watching
You need to
Endgame.
bring some cereal with you, please. Just like munch on some cereal.
Dry food is going to be the only thing I can eat that morning, because I can't leave for 3 hours and 2 minutes.
Dry cereal.
Speaking of the, actually, this is a question for the chat, and we're gonna talk about the runtime a little bit, but then I want to know what your answers are, Christian. If you could let us know what they think.
Sure.
Do you have a preference for how you're seeing Endgame? IMAX? Do you want to see it in 3D? Do you not want to see it in 3D, or are you just like, put it in front of my eyeballs? I don't care. I'm curious. So, the Russos talked a little bit about the runtime this week, and basically, so what they're saying is this Avengers thing, they were never asked to cut it down by the studio.
Wow.
I think there was just an understanding that they needed like, you're dealing with a billion characters. You have to you're closing out a 22 movie saga.
We're going to be saying goodbye to people in this movie.
There's going to be at least
be
a few tearful goodbyes, more than likely. You also have to welcome back in these people. You sort of have to put them all, like where Infinity War was it started all these plot lines. This is going to have to, whether they're people coming back to this reality from the Soul Stone or from the time travel or whatever it is, you're gonna have to not only close out the story arc of this movie, but you're also gonna have to reset where all of these different characters are enough so that they can be picked up in their own solo franchises down the line. Like, we got to get Spidey back to wherever he has to be to start off Far From Home, but in enough of a place where, in theory, you could just watch Homecoming and then Far From Home and not be totally confused as to what's going on.
Right.
Because that's going to be something they want to achieve for the people who are just going to see those two movies or watch them back to back or whatever.
Who are those people?
Like, how are you going to get T'Challa back to where he needs to be to do Black Panther 2, which is going to have a big audience that's not necessarily going to have seen Infinity War and Endgame. They should, but they won't. But they're going to want to make that as clean a space as possible.
Right. And so Zia's question of like, well, who's not seeing this? I think they're thinking more long term, 5-10 years from now. It's like, oh, I want to see those Spider-Man movies. And if this, Far From Home has a whole half hour where they have to reset his story, be like, wait, what happened to him?
Yeah,
well, but
that's the big thing.
Yeah.
If they do that, they'll be like, what happened? Oh, it's from Endgame. Oh, we got to go back and watch those.
It's the kind of thing where look at Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 is deeply affected by the events of Avengers. Mm-hmm. But if you watch like Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, you still got most of it. Like, Iron Man 3 still holds up as a complete movie. Mm-hmm. Because he's not like leaving New York's wreckage, like from the Avengers kind of thing.
Right.
So that's the line they got to walk. But they have to do it with 30 characters.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we go with all of that. And there's just a million threads. So the point is, they made the good news is the Russos made the movie they wanted to make, and it just happened to be a 3-hour and 2-minute long movie.
Yay.
Yeah, I wonder if it had
complaining.
been like 3:45, if they'd been like, all right, we said you got to take something out. But I think they were like 3 hours is going to be where we're not pushing it.
Well, but they also, it wasn't that they were like, we want to make a 4-hour movie. It was like one of the things that Joe Russo, I believe, talked about is like he likes to have compact stories. Like, he doesn't believe in super long movies in general, because you want to take the key parts of your story and just tell that. You don't need extra fluff like, oh, well, we wanted to do this. No, you want to do the story justice as concisely as possible. Mm-hmm. But there's so much that they had to pack into this movie that they had to spend the time.
Which I like when they're going to do that, because I feel like the 3 hours is literally going to fly by. It's going to feel like an hour and a half movie, and at the end you're going to be like, oh, it's done?
That's how Infinity War feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Let me go through. So if you're ready for people in the chat,
please.
all right. So
I'm curious.
Langley M. Neely says no 3D for me. That's where I'm at. The first time I see it, I want to see it in 2D, so I'm not distracted by them trying to impress me.
You're wrong.
But Carlito Lee says it needs to be seen in 4DX. I've seen one movie ever in that. I don't even know where I could see it, but I'm sure that would be great.
They have a theater downtown that has 4DX. I saw
Wow.
Civil War in it. It was not the first time I'd seen it. Personally, I don't think that I love the concept of that tech. I don't think it's there yet. Here's the best example of it. They try to do like, so 40X for context is where they like have you strapped into seats that can move a little bit. They can be a little bumpy. They can throw, if it's misty, they can throw some mist into the air and like you'll get like a little bit of water. And they'll like, if there's something that flies by the screen, they'll like puff some air at you. And those puffs of air are where they broke it for me, because in Civil War, there's a lot of bullet fire. And they try to do the air to be bullet fire. So all I heard instead of bullets was because there's just air flying by my head. And it ruined the experience for me.
What ruined the experience for me is the Terminator Genesis is the movie that I saw 4DX. But anyway, Michael B says, I don't care. You know, just see it. So basically, we're running the gamut of all the things that you said. You know, you have like people, and then, you know, here's a great example. Gamer Girl says the nearest IMAX theater is too far away from me. Because you have to think about the fact that if you're not in or really close to a major city, you might not have an IMAX theater. You know, you might have to drive maybe a couple hours.
Yeah, I
so.
never saw IMAX until I moved here.
I didn't even think they had movie theaters in Hawaii. So
I'm seeing that first screening in that like 3D loungy, and then I'm seeing IMAX 3D for my Saturdays.
I'm just gonna wait till I can watch it on my phone. That's how I'll really enjoy it.
Gross.
Yeah, that sounds
All right,
fun.
let's talk about, because the other thing that they put out with this movie is when they announced the ticket sales, they also put out a new minute-long teaser.
Yes.
And this one does, like, it has a moment that I think we talked about that we hadn't seen yet, and we saw it in this trailer. So if you're, we're gonna talk about like all the stuff that we saw in there. So if you're trying to avoid it, like, I mean, look, you're watching the show, you know we're gonna talk about the trailer.
Yeah.
But we obviously can't watch the trailer, but I want to go through some of the images from it. And now that I look through my images, I think I went backwards. So if we could start at the bottom. I don't know why they got numbered wrong, and now I'm just noticing it. So we're going to start with image number 7, which to me is just funny.
Yeah.
And it's because everyone, and this is like, I feel like this is a meta reference entirely, because everyone's talking about Cap's beard, and then he shaves in this one. People are like, no beard, Cap. And they have him looking in a shaving mirror in this trailer. They're like, yeah, we saw the moment that the beard got dusted.
I mean, look, I kind of am going to miss bearded Cap. I kind of liked it.
Bearded Cap / Nomad was a wonderful thing, and a boon for bearded men everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like him the way I fell in love with him. Clean shaven and skinny.
See, now it's been so long, though, that seeing him like that is just weird. I'm like, wait a second. This is not the Cap. Even though it is, it's still, you know, as you know him or as you first were introduced to him. But it's kind of strange because it's been so long.
Speaking of people that look a little different, we got that look at Ronin / Hawkeye / Clint Barton / whatever name you want to call him. It doesn't matter. Standing in front of what looks like a tech lab. So I'm assuming this is at Avengers HQ. I saw one theory like, that's the time machine behind them. It's like, no, it's probably just like Banner's lab. Everybody calm down. But like the bigger thing is like, he doesn't just have like a fancy Ronin haircut. He's got a huge sleeve of like tattoos.
Crazy.
There's like some kind of like Dia de los Muertos, like Aztec tomb thing going on his like upper arm. And then who knows what else. I mean, you could probably, you know what? I'm looking closer. And this makes sense for him being Ronin. I believe that's a Japanese-inspired thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It does I looked quickly and it had a sort of like Olmec sort of Aztec vibe to it. But looking closer, it's clearly a Japanese headset. Also, he's called Ronin.
Gamer Girl, quick comment from her. Now Clint Barton looks like he's a member of a rock band. It's true.
Yeah,
he has a lot of
kinda
ink.
does.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he does.
not saying
That's
I
how
heard
you
it.
know he's angsty, because he's got tattoos.
Yeah, he's going to start wearing eyeliner
You guys-
halfway through the movie.
He just went on a quest to find himself. And that's, you know, that's how he did it.
I pulled a group shot. There's like, so the big thing that we got from this trailer is that we saw all the Avengers together.
Yes.
We saw a lot of people. We saw like Tony and Pepper together. We're getting a lot of the reunions. Nebula and Rocket, the two last remaining members of the Guardians, together, sort of commiserating. That's what the big part of this was. Is like, we're getting these people back together. We all knew it was going to happen, but now we're seeing it. And this lineup, I pulled this still because I just thought it was, I thought it was really funny because I'm not sure who knows what exactly they're looking at. Here, I'll turn my computer so that we can see it.
It's too dark on the monitor. Sorry.
But so we've got like Cap looking like at the front, like super determined, like, all right, I guess this is what we're dealing with.
You can tell I'm serious because I shaved.
Same thing for Tony, like, but he's got his hands in his pockets, like, oh, this again. War Machine over Tony's shoulder, like, all right, let's do this. You've got Nebula sort of like, kind of like, I don't, what is like,
yeah,
like the Rocket, like kind of sad a little bit because Rocket just lost his kid, you guys. It's real sad.
Rocket's whole family,
favorite.
his entire family's gone.
Scott Lang is like, yo, what up? What up? What up, guys? All right, this is gonna be fun.
He's like, I'm an Avenger now. What's up? Let's do this. Come on.
But like even better is like you have Black Widow, Nat over at the side, like with like scratching her shoulder, like.
She does look
She's
like
like,
that.
oh boy, this is gonna be it. And then on the other side, you've got Clint, who seems to be looking at Nat for like guidance on what to do here. He's just like looking around, like, are you guys are we doing? Really? Is this going to be the thing that we're... All right. All right. If you're listening to this podcast, I'll like, you can just freeze frame on that moment later or check it out on YouTube on our like, it's just a funny little image of everybody. And I also pulled, we can go to the next photo, a shot because like so we're taking the Milano out somewhere and Captain Marvel is flying that Milano, clearly the pilot. Although I imagine, I can't wait for the pissing contest between her and Rocket.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Or maybe Rocket's grown up. He's not going to be doing what he did in Guardians 2.
I mean, he might be a little bit sad just because of everything that's happened. So he's like, you know what, whatever we got to do to get this done. But yeah, I would still love to see if, you know, him challenging her.
But like, that's going to be sort of the fun of like Carol and like her dynamic with everyone. Like, if she's going by Captain Marvel at this point, because she never goes by it during her movie, even though it's the title of the film. But like, is there going to be a fun bit of confusion when people are like, "Hey, Cap," and huh?
No, real Cap. Oh, burn.
Oh, don't say that.
I just mean that's what would happen on the ship.
Yeah, no, have to be Captain Marvel. I mean, America. Sorry.
And you've got like the rest of like. Again, Nat's face in this photo is just like looking around like, what is all this? Her expressions are wonderful. Also, further conspiracy questions about Black Widow's hairstyle. Because in the previous shot, she appears to have dark hair when all the Avengers together. When they're in space, appears to have that blonde hair. What's happening here? I didn't expect to be analyzing somebody's hair this much going up to the Avengers movies.
No, but hair and beards are what's important about this movie, clearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
The saddest shot of this trailer was...
No, I can't.
A photo that Tony is holding of him and Peter Parker... giving each other bunny ears, and he's holding like an award for Peter, and it's upside down.
Don't show me again. I'm closing my eyes.
See, it's dark on the monitor, so don't look. But it's a great moment.
It's heartbreaking.
Got to remind us what we're fighting for. Come on.
Heartbreaking. The next photo. This one has some cool, fun stuff that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Because this is Thanos, and Thanos has previously, in order to teleport. It's the he's using the essentially, it's the same graphics that we've seen since the Tesseract in the Avengers. It's that portal that you can step through and all that. But what he teleports in here using what is the same graphics design as the I just had it in my brain. The Bifrost.
Oh, I was just
Sorry.
gonna say, yeah.
I was like, my brain like misfired. The Bifrost, which like obviously Asgard is destroyed, Heimdall is dead at this point. So is this connected to like the Gauntlet, or is this somehow is he somehow accessing the Bifrost or Bifrost-esque technology to teleport?
Oh man.
And like that raises all kinds of questions, like especially with time travel theoretically in play.
Yeah.
Do we go back? Are we going back to Asgard? Is this not the same version of Thanos? Is this an older version of Thanos? Are we back at like a Thanos origin story? Who knows? Like we have that like fake Infinity Gauntlet that was on Asgard that like Thor Ragnarok was like fake. Which was a great way of like, oh, we put in an Easter egg that totally burned us.
Yeah.
But dispelling that. But could this be some old time that like where Thanos went to Asgard and then was like teleported away via Bifrost or something like that? Who knows? Or is this all just Marvel playing deep fakes with us?
How long do we have to wait for this movie? This is the more I analyze it,
3 weeks from
the
today.
harder
3
it
weeks,
gets,
you guys.
The harder it gets. The more I do this and watch these things and analyze it, the more I'm like, I want to watch it tomorrow.
And the last photo that we'll look at from this teaser trailer is there's a shot of a few Avengers. It appears to be Tony, Cap, and I think Thor. So your big like original three, for like the big three movies, except for Hulk, unless he's going to be in because they still haven't shown us Hulk, so he could be painted in later. And then like you've got obviously Clint and Natasha, but I mean more from like who got movies before the Avengers.
Right. Yeah.
So these three walking towards Thanos, who's like sitting down, looks exhausted in the background. He's sitting next to his big like windmill weapon that has also been shown in some toys recently. It's basically, it looks like a double-sided blade. It's like it's like Thanos got a big double-sided butter knife Darth Maul weapon is what I'm describing with this Thanos' new toy. And again, like this planet, like wherever this wreckage is, it could be on Earth. It looks like it's Earth technology that's like surrounding them, like wreckage, like you see I-beams and stuff like that. So it doesn't. I don't think this is Thanos' home planet or any alien planet. I think this is Earth. It could be the wreckage of the Avengers HQ. We've talked about the theory that like a lot of that stuff is right before HQ gets attacked. Could be Thanos attacking them. Who knows? He doesn't have reason to attack right now. But with time travel in play, who knows what's going on?
We don't know.
There's a couple people in the chat. Braden Schuler and Gamer Girl both think that effect on Thanos is him beaming down from his ship. It's not him using the gauntlet or any other method to teleport. So that's their theory. Just wanted to throw that into the mix.
It's possible. I mean, look, the Bifrost is in the MCU. The Bifrost is technology. It's possible that there is similar tech that would have similar looks on a more micro level, like teleporting from a ship or something.
I prefer your theory, though. I want it to be back in time in Asgard. That we'll see.
I just want to see Heimdall back. Like, I have not accepted his death in any way, shape, or form. If they don't somehow find a way to bring him back.
I think Heimdall might be dead.
No, Zach.
Isn't he running around on Suicide Squad or something now?
Is he?
He is now. He's replaced Will Smith. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Oh, see, now you're excited.
Oh,
And he's
excited.
Busy. He's busy DJing on a series on Netflix.
And he's Detective Inspector Luther for Scotland Yard. So
that
really,
is
he's very busy.
Still on my list of things to watch on Netflix.
It's amazing.
All right. I'm not going to get into the details. So that was the teaser that they put out.
Right.
We've now ultra overanalyzed. They did also show some new footage at CinemaCon. Now, it's not available to the public. It was just for the people and the critics and everyone in the room. I haven't seen it. I read an account of it. That I read it. I'm not going to share it with you guys in deference because I'll tell you what I believe it was. I think it is the scene that connects the... stop doing that, computer.
Stop it.
You tell that computer, Zach.
I believe it's the scene that connects the post-credit scene in Captain Marvel, the one that was clearly a scene from Endgame, to the moment with like her and Thor. That's more or less what it sounds like. There's some other details in there that, like, frankly, I thought they sounded too cool to like spoil via a podcast.
The one thing that we didn't talk about in that actual trailer, this is from that footage, that some people are starting to think it's a misdirect, is the big handshake between Cap and Tony.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, which I think is a great, amazing moment. I was very excited. But I think the people who think that there's something that they're trying to trick us with, I think they need to explain what makes them think that, because I'm just like, this is awesome. I'm so glad they're friends again.
I almost forgot about that because I intentionally didn't pull a photo because I'm like, no, if people don't want to see it, they don't want to see it. Because like that to me, that's like the huge moment. Yes. But I also don't think that's the moment where they first see each other. I think that's going to be the big emotional moment. This is like because it's like, Tony asking Cap, do you trust me? And Cap saying, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So like them coming back together and teaming up. So I don't think it's a literal misdirect where that's like fake footage or anything.
Right.
I think it's a misdirect in that is not their first time seeing each other. It's just like probably I imagine before they decide to go to the quantum realm or something. It's like, this is crazy. Do you trust me? I do.
The final thing, and I actually lost who said this, but the idea that, you know, the previous trailers and teasers were all from the first 15-20 minutes. Now people are starting to wonder, well, this has to be from later in the movie, right?
I believe they've still qualified that it's not first 15-20 minutes, but first act.
Okay.
So if it's a 3-act structure, technically that could mean the first hour. But
I'm just laughing because you're absolutely right. It's a 3-hour movie.
But think about that. If it's from the first act, it's from the first hour. That means there's a full movie left after that. So
I know.
There's gonna be plenty of reveals, plenty of twists that like you're not gonna see coming. The other thing is that they have consistently said that there are fakes in these trailers. We don't know what they are specifically, and I know I've talked to people who have also confirmed for me that there are absolutely things that they have faked in these trailers.
Oh my God.
And that's great. The Russos are fully about this, and I'm totally behind them. Like, please fake us out in these trailers. The trailer shouldn't be, here's the movie. The trailer should be, here's the feel of the movie. It's roughly what you're going to get if you go see the movie. Go experience it as we designed it as a movie, not as a, like, hey, we're going to show you pieces of the story. We're going to show you a little bit of the whole story, and then you get to see the whole thing. Like, I feel like the Spider-Man Far From Home trailers have done.
GDS 481300 says all the trailers are fakes. That's their theory.
That would be amazing.
I would love that.
Let's move on though, because there's some other stuff that I want to talk about. And Endgame is only 3 weeks away, you guys. 3 weeks away. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But let's talk about Black Widow.
Yes.
Because Black Widow got some really cool news this week because they added 2 big stars to the cast. The movie's scheduled to start filming in June, according to Deadline.
Yes.
And they also added 2 new people. We teased at the top of the show, but Rachel Weisz and David Harbour, and we can throw that picture of them up on the screen so that people watching can see. In case you're like, who are those people? Rachel Weisz has been in a ton of things.
She was in The Mummy. Let's not forget that's where it started, guys.
Thing, The Mummy.
I'm sorry.
And David Harbour of Stranger Things, and also playing Hellboy in the upcoming movie,
which I also have tickets for.
Well, we don't have time. I will go see it, but we don't have time to get into that. This is really cool casting.
Yeah.
These are both phenomenal actors. They're both big name actors, which means they're not dialing in, like phoning in this movie. Like Marvel's like pulling out stops for this. Like we've talked about some casting for like minor roles, and it's like people are like, I've never seen anything that they've been in it. But this is like, David Harbour is like blowing up right now. Obviously, he just did Hellboy as Hellboy.
Yeah.
But like this is to me, this shows a strong sense of confidence in the movie, like for them to cast this level of roles. So I have some thoughts. Do you guys have any ideas on who they could be playing
Well, my thinking is that sometimes when you see casting, like actual official or even strong rumors, you're like, I have a really good idea who that person's playing. I think these are pretty wide open on who they can be. There was one suggestion for David Harbour that I don't know if you want to.
So I saw this and I love it, and it's just like it's also like something I was like looking at a list and I was like maybe, but Charles Lee in the chat.
And Gamer Girl's saying it right now, too.
Yeah. David Harbour playing the Taskmaster. Like,
Yes.
Oh, like Taskmaster, a guy who, like, is a fighter, but also just a tactically brilliant person who can match. Taskmaster, real quick, like, just pure power set, can take like anybody who's up against, analyze their like style and everything in a heartbeat and match it and be able to replicate all those moves. Put them up against somebody who is known for their like and we've seen be very strong in terms of like fighting style and everything. The Taskmaster could be really cool to go up against Black Widow. Also has been hired as a mercenary plenty of times, a spy. Like it fits that espionage movie feel that Black Widow is going to have. So I don't really. There's a billion things that David Harbour could be in this universe. That's sort of my initial thought.
We've got a theory of Crimson Commando, and also Senor Nerd. I like this. Unless David Harbour is playing a pilot named Ben Grimm who flies Natasha to her missions, there goes our dream MCU thing cast. He would be great as Ben Grimm. I actually hadn't thought of that.
David Harbour would have been really good as Ben Grimm. What if we're backdoor pilot? No. He would be good. The thing with the thing is like it's 90% voice, and David Harbour would be great. But that's also my thought on Taskmaster, is that I think that because he wears a mask, I think David Harbour as the voice of somebody like Taskmaster, who's a little more nuanced, and has like I think he could bring a really cool gravitas to that role. Rachel Weisz. This one, I know my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan buddies are going to bump up a little bit on, but technically this character has not actually existed in the world yet. I think Rachel Weisz is going to be Madam Hydra or Viper, more specifically. So, like, what we got of, like, so Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did a Madam Hydra plotline with Ada, but it was in the construct like alternate what if universe inside like an AI based like Matrix world thing. I love that show. But like so it has so like and that was like it was a different version. It was the idea of Madam Hydra, but not Viper specifically. I think Rachel Weisz is going to be playing Madam Hydra, who has been like running the Red Room all this time. That's who I think that's my theory on Rachel Weisz, and I think that she would play a real powerful evil villain, and like running the Red Room, like the person who's like basically beating Natasha into submission, because the Red Room is not a pleasant place. Like you need somebody who can carry that sort of vindictiveness across, and I think Rachel Weisz has the chops to pull. Like I know she has the chops. It's really just like what are they going to do with her acting abilities? Any thoughts, you guys?
I'm really excited to see this movie now. The more you talk about it, the more I want to see the movie that you're creating in your head.
If she's not Viper, I'll be like, but Zach Zach pitched the perfect movie. Why didn't they listen? They haven't started shooting yet, so if she's supposed to be somebody else, change it to Viper.
Yeah. I mean, she could also be like, again, I know that Agent Carter used this character, but Yelena Belova or an equivalent, if you just rename the character as like a previous Black Widow or new Black Widow. Like there's all kinds of different things that you could do with Rachel Weisz opposite Scarlett Johansson. And this is all sort of assuming that it's a prequel, which we don't officially know. We just assume.
No, we assume, but with the casting, a lot of the casting does make sense for a lot of these characters and these roles. So it'd be, I know they could, do a complete 180 on it, but it just might not fit as well.
I'd like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes that are sort of prequel-ish, that kind of gives us a little bit of her backstory, and then the rest is present day.
I think you do that regardless.
Yeah.
But I don't know. an 80s espionage movie, or maybe not 80s, I don't know. It's Marvel, so like timing and aging is a little bit
Let's go back
questioning.
to the 90s.
But like if you do 90s or early 2000s story, like before, like a pre-Iron Man Black Widow, that could be a cool era to do it into. If you listen, do you guys have any other thoughts on Black Widow before we move on?
Zeno Hour saying wasn't Viper at Fox, but it doesn't matter anymore. Even first of all, Viper, you know, it is one of those characters that sure tussled with Wolverine a lot in the comics, but you know, it's like Quicksilver. You know, you can have multiple claims to him, but again, none of it matters now because it's all in, well, except for
and
Spidey,
if it was, and they were
Disney's.
just waiting to announce this casting until they owned it, that's what we just did. The only questions about legal rights is like on some Spidey characters, but like that's its own like ball of wax. Let's talk about Deathlok. Speaking of characters and where they might go, Deathlok's a really interesting case. Deadline let out a rumor this week that Marvel is considering developing a Deathlok movie. Marvel Studios, specifically. Now, if you're an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, you know that they have done Deathlok, played by J. August Richards, who was a part of the S.H.I.E.L.D. premiere back in the day, and then like came back later as Deathlok. He's appeared a couple times. He's been away a little while, but he's one of the characters that I've really hoped to come back or to like launch an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spin-off show. I thought he had a lot of potential. Him and Ghost Rider were the two big things I thought would be good
As
spin-offs.
such an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, would you be disappointed if the movie version is played by someone other than J. August Richards?
I would, because that would sort of imply this is sort of the thing that I'm waiting on with all the Disney Plus shows and Marvel Studios really going into TV series now with Disney Plus, and they're expanding the universe a lot more. At what point might Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. drop out of canon? And like it's something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has always existed as what like a lot of times is referred to as B canon.
Right,
where it's canon until it's canon until the movies decide to contradict it, and then it's not.
Because you have the episode that Fury was in, you have Sif, so you actually have some MCU characters that show
Especially
up by
the
those
first
actors.
2 seasons, when basically as long as Joss Whedon was running the MCU, like up through Age of Ultron, they were very tightly integrated because you had Jed Whedon and Joss Whedon as the people in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the MCU. So it was, and Joss Whedon is still an executive producer. Not that he's as hands-on with the show, but he's an executive producer of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, like, it was easier for them to integrate, but since the Russos really took charge of the, like, overall image, like, along with Kevin Feige, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has slipped a lot more towards the background, and, like, the Marvel TV versus Marvel Studios debate is extensive. And we've talked about that before. We don't have to go into it now, but it's like something I'm nervous about as an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. I love that it's integrated into the world. It's become less and less so over the years. This would be the final shot of like it's not canon. If they took a character and redid it on the big screen. So J. August Richards actually came out and was like, I want to play Deathlok in the movie.
Good, I like
Let me play Deathlok. He used like a hashtag like Richards for Deathlok, like he wants to play his character. He said that he's very connected to the character. He loves this character. He wants to keep playing it. And I want to see him keep playing because he did a good job with it.
Do you think it would translate onto the big screen?
It's so weird when you take a TV character and try to put it on the screen because you have to basically start over from scratch. You can't rely on any of the established canon. You have to let an audience like start from zero. And like you can refer to other stuff, but you got to start them from zero.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna make a Deathlok movie that's like for the big screen, it's gonna be real complicated. So I don't know. I don't know what I would even want if they were gonna do that because it could be a really hairy situation. But I hope that we get more of his Deathlok because I do enjoy watching him play that role, and we haven't seen him in a few seasons. Let's talk about Captain Marvel real quick.
What? No.
What, did you say what?
Nothing.
I think she said why.
No, I didn't. Go on.
Captain Marvel has become the 7th MCU film to cross $1 billion in box office income. Like It has grossed $1 billion worldwide.
That's so much money.
Which is crazy, and also is a like, yeah, like, nobody's gonna see the stupid Captain Marvel movie, guys. And like $1 billion worth of people wanted to see this movie. That's really all the news. Like, Captain Marvel made a lot of money, but it's also just like, look at the demand. Look at the demand for diverse characters taking on, and like, Captain Marvel's not a perfect movie. We talked about it, like, but it's a fun movie. I've seen it 3 times. I'll see it again at some point. Like, I'm enjoying the hell out of Captain Marvel, and people around the world agree.
And I'm waiting for the standalone Goose spin-off movie. That's what I really want to see.
That's what I'm with you on that, Christian.
I usually tease it at the back of the show. Since you brought up Goose.
Oh, okay. I actually saw this.
My shipping podcast, where we take characters that don't belong in the same universe and we ship them together. We did Goose this week and Garfield.
I can't wait for that.
Oh my
I feel
God,
like they both
Goose
hate
would
Mondays, if I had to guess.
Steal all of Garfield's lasagna.
No, Garfield offers his lasagna.
Oh.
Goose. It's on my podcast, Ships in the
That's
Night.
how you know it's love. Anyway.
Yeah, check that out. It's on iTunes. Anyway, New Mutants has a release date, you guys.
Yes.
Theatrical.
So excited.
Theatrical. So Disney at CinemaCon did a rundown of all the movies that are coming out this year, and apparently on August 2nd of this year, New Mutants coming to theaters.
August 2nd. That's a while.
It's enough time.
It is
But
and
I'm
it
so
isn't.
excited.
Like, we didn't know they never did the reshoots.
And I wonder,
So-
I feel like they probably won't, but they could, that's not that much time where if you only have, I don't know, 10 minutes that you want to try and squeeze in and you know what they are, you could still do it because it's, 5 months away?
But it's not going to be the extensive reshoots that
Right.
we had heard about.
Right.
Where they were like reshooting 2/3 of the movie or something.
Yeah.
But like, so New Mutants is coming out. It's gonna get its big picture release. Like, it might be, they might sort of like sweep it under the rug, like, put it out, but not like do a huge push.
Yeah, I mean, August 2nd isn't your
August
best
is a
foot forward.
slow
Yeah.
month for movies, so like, it's not the worst place to put it. Like, look, they didn't put it in January.
Yeah, right, exactly.
August is also not a bad month to come out. You're still riding a wave of like big releases. People aren't quite back at school yet on the 2nd. So yeah. But speaking of mutant movies, Disney continued to talk about it, and Alan Horn, the guy who's running a big part of Disney, said that more Deadpool is coming. He wanted to make sure everybody knew, and apparently there was a big, I didn't get the chance to see which tweet it was, but apparently he did it in front of an image of a Ryan Reynolds tweet. But so Disney is set on more Deadpool, and but the only reason I bring up the tweet is that it does say very clearly, we are going to do more, and we are going to do it with Ryan Reynolds. That's not in question.
Well, if it who would go see it if it wasn't?
Well, but that's the thing. It's
I would definitely see it, but
I don't know
I
if
wouldn't
I
be
would.
excited without Ryan
Yeah,
Reynolds.
but like, look, it's a question with a lot of the Fox things, because they also said that like there was also comments about like Dark Phoenix being the big send off with this cast, with this set of X-Men from guys at Fox. Like, look, there's going to be a lot of resets to the mutant universe. Deadpool is the one that's most immune from that, as somebody who breaks the fourth wall constantly.
Right.
Because he can literally comment on that fact that he's like the lone survivor. Like, Deadpool 3 is going to make a bunch of dusting jokes. So he's going to be sweeping. Undoubtedly, Deadpool 3, at minimum in a promo, will be sweeping up. Was that Spider-Man? Like, it'll happen. Or was that McAvoy? Like, it's going to be some nonsense like that. But yeah, well, that's the fun.
I'm
That's the fun
excited.
there. I think so. They also showed some footage from Dark Phoenix, but there's other stuff. There's some TV stuff I want to talk about, and Dark Phoenix is coming so soon. And frankly, I'm more excited about Endgame and also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So let's go in to Marvel TV time.
Marvel movie news. We're talking TV time.
Yeah. All right. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. showed its first episode at WonderCon.
You weren't there.
I wasn't there. I was busy. I got there later. But I talked to some people who were there.
Nice.
And they had since they haven't put out any accounts online, I'm not going to spoil anything, but
Were they generally happy?
they
with
were
it?
very happy.
Okay, great.
They were very positive. The people that I talked to who enjoy the show, they're not just like, "What's this thing? Oh, that was cool." They enjoyed the episode. They said it's good. The fact that they showed it again, I think I said last week, it sort of like it means that like they are going to. It's not going to spoil Endgame for you to see the show, but it's coming out on May 10th. So only a couple weeks after Endgame, we'll get our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back, and I'll be doing some weekly check-ins with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. every week. You are not going to be able to shut me up. One thing that was really interesting from all of the discussion at WinterCon was that Jeff Loeb said that Season 7 is not necessarily the final season.
Which we had heard previously that it would.
That it could be.
Yeah.
But Jeff Loeb's saying like they're not writing it, they're not preparing it as if it's the final season. They're gonna like close out the arcs of that season and then like but leave some doors open. And that's like sort of what he said is like the case they've started planning as the case going forward. Look, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It'll be cool if it keeps going. Like we already have 2 more seasons ordered. So like I'm not worried too much. We're gonna have it for a while, but it could keep going. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what we're gonna see? But we are getting more and more TV as we go because Cloak and Dagger is premiering tonight.
Tonight, a 2-hour premiere
on Freeform.
On Freeform, I believe it's at 8:00, 7 Central. For those of you out there, Zia, how excited are you?
I'm going to put it off till tomorrow, probably.
Well, yeah, you'll watch it on Hulu, like a lot of people probably will. Yeah.
I have Freeform, but
I'm excited for Cloak and Dagger. I literally liked season 1.
I really want to see where they go because I felt like the end of season 1, it was like, okay, we're done with their origin story. Now let's actually move it forward. Everybody who's seen even one ad for it knows that there's going to be mayhem this season, and there's rumors we might get Mr. Jip. So I'm really interested to see how they actually move forward, sort of. And there's still a lot of questions about their backstory, but I feel like we're in a place where they can actually be the Cloak and Dagger that at least I want to see on the screen.
Mayhem does look cool in one of the trailers I saw for season 2. Like some of the stuff she does, I'm like, oh, all right, that looks interesting. It looks intriguing. I think that could be a cool thing to see.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it tonight because I'm working, but I'm gonna watch it this weekend probably. So yeah, we have that to look forward to. And I think like real quick, let you guys start thinking about this. I want to take some questions from the chat for Doom's Question Corner.
Right. We have a couple I can get in there before
please.
we run out of time. Carlito Lee says, don't you all think it's time for the European Marvel Captain Britain, Outlaw, Guillotine, Elsa Bloodstone, Union Jack? I mean, just Captain Britain alone, I think we've already talked about it on the show. I would love there to be Captain Britain. Probably not a standalone movie at first. He just sort of has to get introduced somewhere. But I would love that.
I mean, there's rumors that he might pop up, or like the Black Knight might pop up rather in Endgame, and that's I think the in is like. For those like British characters, I think the Black Knight is the big one because you can like, what if we did a medieval Marvel movie,
dude?
Like, what if we did a sword
like
and
2 of my favorite things,
a sword and sorcery Marvel movie? Yes, please. All right, let's get one more in, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
This is from Ivan Soto. Christian, what are your and Zach's feelings about S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. becoming public after 5 years of being in the shadows? This is obviously, presumably, that's what would happen. I feel like that's very likely, and it would be interesting because it would be yet another reset on the show. So I think it would be nice to kind of freshen it up, and all of a sudden they're back to being at the forefront.
Oh, like if S.H.I.E.L.D. becomes a
legit arm of the government again, instead of being Black Ops Underground.
Yeah, the show could use look, the show needs refreshing every now and again. We know that we're going to be going back into space this season because that's like we got to go find Fitz because like he's floating somewhere in space right now, so we got to go deal with that. That's the other thing that like the team's going to split in 2. Some in space and some are going to stay on Earth. So we'll see how that all plays out. But as like a season 7 maybe where they or maybe that's a post Endgame thing where like they reestablish S.H.I.E.L.D. in like Peggy's name or something like that, because like in
Fury's
honor
back
of
in, and
Cap and Peggy,
yeah.
we bring Shield back. I don't know if you bring Fury back in, or you have Nick Fury Jr.
Well,
That's a real thing. That's not a joke.
It's just because you said Nick Jr.
Fury's presence in the Far From Home trailer gives me a little indication
That's
that
true.
he might have an official role again.
Yeah, and that could be really cool. And
Yeah.
if we start linking into Spider-Man stuff like that,
Please, yes.
that would be fun. All right, that's unfortunately going to do it for this week on Marvel Movie News. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who tuned in live. Gamer Girl, Mark Balam, Jenna James, Daniel Drew, Langley, M. Neely, Khalid Ali. I'm just reading off names
And
as
the other
fast as I can.
65 of you.
GDS 4811300. Star Drew. Yeah, thank you all you guys for Brandon Schiller. Thank you everyone for commenting and joining us live in the chat. And we're trying to do more shout outs and stuff and like have birthdays and everything. Like if you guys tell us, we'll shout you out.
Just let us know beforehand. And where should they send their Doom questions?
If you want to talk about your question on Doom's Question Corner, send it to doomsquestioncorner@gmail.com. Let's sign off, guys. Xia, where can everyone keep up with you on the interwebs?
What? You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Xia_land. It's XIA_land. And go give my Facebook page some love, too, because there's nothing going on there.
Was it because I said interwebs?
Xia Landerson. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can see Xia and myself Sundays at 9 Pacific over on AfterBuzz TV doing Marvel TV Weekly. And yes, we will be covering the Cloak and Dagger 2-hour premiere. You can also see me on Star Trek Discovery's after show tonight on AfterBuzz. And I've just started doing the Twilight Zone after show. So I'm very busy over there.
All right, guys, I'm Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson. And also, as I teased earlier, you can find my show, Ships in the Night. It's my other podcast. It's on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, Spotify, where we talk about, we ship characters from different universes, and we just write the story of their crossover episode. We did Goose and Garfield this week, but we also did another Marvel themed one, because we did Dazzler of the X-Men,
All right,
with Disco Stew of The Simpsons. We did those with Joey Clift of Nerd. He's also written for Cartoon Network and a bunch of other places. Super fun episode. Check it out. Ships in the Night. Until then, you guys, this has been Marvel Movie News. Thanks for geeking out with us.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.